Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So we're just waiting for Beth, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay, well, I was just talking to her. She'll be here shortly. Agenda only. Okay. Yeah. Usha. Jana. Matt. Mm. Mm. Hmm. Well, I'm sure she will be here in a moment. So, okay. So, Matt, were you looking to make a public comment or speak to an agenda item today?
Yes, just a public comment, but it's also regarding items 3 through 6.
Okay. And Jana, were you looking to make a public comment or speak to an agenda item?
No, I'm just here to listen about the case with the Linda Fobb.
Okay. Usha, were you looking to make a public comment or speak to an agenda item?
No, I'm just trying to listen to the agenda items 3 to 6. Interested in that.
Okay. And David, were you looking to make a public comment or speak to an agenda item?
Not tonight. I'm just listening in.
Okay, well, it looks like Matt, you're the only one making a public comment tonight, and Jimmy, you're going to be my my timer.
Yes, go ahead. Who's up?
It's going to be Matt.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Matt.
sorry. I just wanted to make a comment regarding the resolution authorizing payment for defense expenses. And for the residents that watch this back later, I just want to reiterate the fact that some of the same people named in these resolutions are the exact same people who are getting undocumented reimbursements, breaking any and all basic accounting principles, especially for government elected officials, and some of the same members who were part of the MWANA board who were arguably illegally enforcing architectural guidelines for members who are not even part of this voluntary organization. It appears that these resolutions for individual board members are an attempt to circumvent the rule regarding government expenditures to voluntary organizations. So I would just hope that the residents who watch this back later understand all those items. It's all public record. It's all out there. I've looked through everything. So hopefully they have too, so they're informed. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Okay, And let's close out the public comments. And now we're going to go to agenda item 2, which is cause number D1GN 20003773, Linda Fobb and Matt Fobb. Why don't I turn this over to you, Bill?
Yeah, so I'm going to recommend that we go into executive session on items 2 through 7. So if you have the announcement, Catherine.
Okay, let me hold on.
Wait, before you do that, I would like to make a statement, please.
Related.
The agenda item 2.
Okay, go ahead, Linda.
Thank you. On tonight's agenda, 4 members of this board will vote to spend our tax dollars to defend their participation in what my attorney has labeled the fine scheme, including the misappropriation of public funds. Both of these charges were included in my amended petition and are the basis for the 4 resolutions up next on the agenda. The resolutions state that each of these board members was acting in good faith and within the scope of their official duties. To strip the people that have been victims of the fine scheme of due process by making oneself the judge, jury, prosecutor, all in one, is a betrayal of the sworn oath of office to defend the Constitution and displays a complete lack of moral decency. Thank you for letting me make that statement, Catherine. I will send it to the minute keeper because I would like it published with the minutes.
Okay, so I am now going to read the statement, Bill, and I need to reference agenda items 2 through 7.
Correct.
Okay, hold on. Let me read that. And there we go. Doing mousing left-handed is hard when you're right-handed. Hold on. There we go. Executive session. There we go. The Board of Directors will now go into closed session for consultation with the district's attorney pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code regarding agenda items 2 through 7.
Okay. So I'm going to pause this recording, and the board will be coming back to this meeting after the executive session. And we're going to include all the board members except for Linda Fobb, who's the plaintiff, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit. And I'll send an invite to the 4 board members momentarily.
Okay.
Thanks. It's being recorded, so go ahead, Catherine, read the announcement.
The Board of Directors has concluded its closed session and is returning to the open meeting. No action was taken during the closed session. Okay, agenda item number 2.
Catherine, item number 2 is the pending lawsuit that was filed by Linda Fobb and her husband individually and as trustees of their family trust. The lawsuit was filed originally against the MUD and the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association. The lawsuit has been recently amended to include 4 of our directors in their official capacity as directors of the MUD. So if you look at item 2, the caption for the lawsuit now includes the MUD, the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association, Catherine Franke, Art Madrano, Beth Jones, Megan Duda. That is the way the lawsuit is phrased now. And because 4 of our directors have been sued in their official capacity as directors of the MUD, they are now in need of a defense counsel and file an answer in the lawsuit and proceed. And so when we get to items 3 through 6, those resolutions were prepared to authorize payment of the defense expenses for those directors because they were acting in their official capacity, and the other findings that are in the resolution authorize payment of those defense expenses. I just wanted to kind of preface that explanation for the general public and for the directors prior to moving forward with the other items.
Okay, is that all the discussion we have, Bill, on agenda item 2?
That's all I have to present.
Okay. Agenda item 3, resolution authorizing payment of defense expenses for Catherine Frankie.
Catherine, before you move on, I'm sorry I couldn't unmute quick enough. Bill, I would like to understand why the TML insurance is not covering these directors. I understand that there was a request for coverage and it was denied. Can you explain that to me, please?
Basically, it was denied because in your lawsuit, Linda, you did not seek any damages against these individuals or the MUD.
So unless there's damages, the insurance that covers these directors does not cover them?
Correct.
There has to be damages for them to be covered.
According to the denial letter. I'll be happy to send you the denial letter
Please do.
separately. Because it relates to your lawsuit, I hadn't sent it to you previously, but it is not a confidential record.
Okay, please send it to me then. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, resolution number 3.
I'm going to motion for that one. That's the motion for item number 3, the approval of resolution defense expenses for Catherine Frankie. Second.
Do you hear
Can I get
that?
a second?
Yes. Sorry, did you not hear me? I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, I'll go ahead and call the vote. Linda?
I vote no, and for the record, it is my belief that the residents of this MUD should not pay for the legal defense of anyone who attempts to trample on their property rights or uses district funds for their own personal interests. I find both behaviors reprehensible.
Art?
I vote yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
I abstain. Okay. Agenda item 4, resolution authorizing payment of defense expense for Art Medrano. I move for the approval of the resolution on agenda number 4 as presented. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, do we have any discussion? Okay, I'll go ahead and call the vote. Linda?
I vote no, and for the record, it is my belief that the residents of this MUD should not pay for the legal defense of anyone who attempts to trample on their property rights or uses district funds for their own personal interests. I find both behaviors reprehensible.
Art?
I abstain.
Megan?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
And I vote yes too. Agenda item number 5, resolution authorizing payment of defense expenses for Beth Jones.
Catherine, item 5 is the resolution for Megan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. But I'll make a motion for that.
Wait a
That's
minute,
fine.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm looking at
No.
the wrong agenda because number 5 says Beth Jones, but that's okay.
No. No. I move for approval for resolution for item number 5 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, do we have any discussion?
Wait, is this one's for me?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead and call the vote. Linda?
I don't believe there was a second on that one.
Yes, there was. Didn't you second that?
I did.
Catherine, I need to make a correction.
Okay.
So I did, in the attachments, I think I may have switched the numbers. So item number 5 actually is the resolution for Beth. but the one we're considering at the moment is item 6, which is the resolution for Megan.
Okay, okay.
So I want to make that correction, even though
So
the
I can do that.
agenda
I don't
items
mind
consider-
doing that again if you'd like me to do it for item 6. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, do it for
That's
do it
fine.
again.
I move to approve a resolution for item number 6 as it is presented.
Okay,
I will second that one.
okay,
Item number 6.
okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any discussion? Okay, I'll call the vote. Linda Fobb.
I vote no, and for the record, it is my belief that the residents of this MUD should not pay for the legal defense of anyone who attempts to trample on their property rights or uses district funds for her own personal interests. I find both behaviors reprehensible.
Art,
I vote yes.
Megan,
Abstain.
Beth,
Yes.
and I vote yes too. Okay,
Yes,
agenda,
Now we have to go back to 5 to.
yeah,
to
agenda
do-
item number 5, resolution authorizing payment of defense costs for Beth Jones.
We need a motion. I'll motion for, as written, to approve for all defense expenses for Beth Jones.
Okay, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? I'll go ahead and call the vote. Linda,
I vote no, and for the record, it is my belief that the residents of this MUD should not pay for the legal defense of anyone who attempts to trample on their property rights or uses district funds for their own personal interests. I find both behaviors reprehensible.
Art,
I vote yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Beth,
I abstain.
I vote yes too. Okay. Agenda item 7, Richard Rodriguez and sheet agreement, consent to multi-party presentation in cause number blah, blah, blah. Okay, so somebody needs to, let me see if I can find it. It's number 7. Somebody needs to make a resolution to approve the multi-party representation for agenda number 7.
Yeah, before the motion, Catherine, can I clarify? This is
Sure.
the revised version. The original version was replaced with a revised version today. The revised version is agreement only between the district and the law firm.
Okay, so let me see if I got this. The district and the law firm. Okay. Okay, I move that we approve the agreement and consent to multi-party representation as presented in agenda item number 7.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, there will be discussion. Bill, how can it be a multi-party representation when it's just the MUD being represented by this law firm now? That's not multi-party, that's just one party.
Yeah, so Linda, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you're plaintiff in the lawsuit, but very briefly, this agreement is authorizing the lawsuit to represent other parties. It is not an agreement with the other parties.
I don't understand. Can you explain that?
I tried to explain it.
It authorizes them to represent any other party? Is that what you're saying?
I think the agreement references who the other parties are.
Well, you changed it at the final hour. I've not looked at it very closely. Can you tell me who the other parties are?
Yeah, they're all the other defendants that you sued. All of them.
And WANA included?
Correct.
So they're part of the multi-party. Why is their
No,
signature?
they're not part of this agreement, but they are one of the clients that are represented by the same law firm.
My understanding would be then that the agreement would have to include all parties. And
Well, Linda, I'll respectfully disagree with you. And the law firm that is representing all of the defendants has prepared this form, has cleared it with their lawyers and their advisors. And
All right.
they do not believe that there has to be one agreement with all the parties.
Okay. In that case, then I will need someone to give me the names of the executive committee of AMWANA. Who are these people now? It changes so frequently, I can no longer keep up. So I need to know who is the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer of that organization.
Bill, isn't that something she needs to get with her lawyer with?
Well, I don't, how,
Information from my lawyer.
Linda, is this relevant to agenda item number 7?
It most certainly is, since the MUD is going to be paying for their representation. I think we need to know who we're talking about here.
This item number 7 does not talk about payment of defense costs.
It says that this lawyer will be representing AMWANA. So who is?
And they already represent Anderson Midwest Neighborhood Association pursuant to a prior approved agreement
Okay, then
previously.
then you should have no problems identifying who the executive committee of AMWANA is now, because their website does not identify those people. And I need that information to give that to my lawyers.
Okay. Well, Linda, I'm not
I think it's
going,
funny.
I don't feel obligated to aid you. Hold on, let me respond, Catherine, let me respond. I don't feel obligated to aid you in your lawsuit against the district.
I know, and you don't seem to have any obligation to protect the district right now either. But
Well,
those,
I disagree, Linda, I disagree.
of course you do, of course you
Of
do.
course.
Those people would need to be a party to this suit. They are a party to this suit, but the people.
Well, Linda, you haven't sued them. If you're talking about the executive committee of Anderson Midwest Neighborhood Association, you have not sued them. I advise you to talk to your lawyer about which parties have actually been sued. If
Okay.
there's any confusion, I'm not going to assist you. I'm not going to assist you in your lawsuit. You asked for the information to talk to your lawyer about the lawsuit.
Okay, I'll have my lawyer contact Richard Rodriguez and Skeeth and get the names of those people.
That would be great. That would be
That's what
great.
I'm about.
Okay.
Catherine, what independent counsel did you hire to review this multi-party agreement?
I didn't hire,
Recommended by Richard Rodriguez and Skeeth in their document.
Well, I represent the district, so I'm the independent counsel, independent of the lawyers representing the district in the defense of the lawsuit.
Oh, I see. So you agreed to this multi-party agreement. You think it's suffice.
I think it's appropriate and efficient and cost saving, yes.
Good to know.
okay, any more discussion? I'm going to go ahead and call the vote. Linda?
No. For
Art.
the simple, well, I want to go on the record. My no vote is because the MUD district should not be paying for the legal defense of the personal, private social organization called AMWANA. And that's basically what you're doing here, because they have all but depleted the beautification fund for Anderson Mill West. So that's pretty underhanded and needs to be made public. So we'll tackle AMWANA a different way.
Art?
Okay, are we voting?
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
And I vote yes too. Okay. Okay, agenda item 8, management report from Sage Management.
Are we unmuted?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. The report was sent to you all on the data dump Friday. I sent it to the lawyers, and the lawyers were supposed to send it to you all. Did you all have a chance to review it? Hello? Y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. So then let me go ahead and go over the summary that I have. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the questions that have been posed to me via email. as I go through it. For the month of May, we had many trash cans in view and also trash cans in the street. So we had 59 trash cans in view. We sent out 57 first violation letters, 2 repeat violations, and there were 2 fines for trash cans in view. We had 43 trash cans in the street for the month of May in sections 1 through 6. We were directed by the committee to wait on those letters at this point until we can review the documentation that supports the deed enforcement of the trash cans in the street. We will continue at this time. We're just going to continue to monitor the situation. We've had an increase in trash cans in the street on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. The committee will review any documents that support the enforcement of trash cans in the street, and we'll bring it back to the board next month. As Stage did not send letters for the trash cans in the street, we did not include it in the daytime letter count. There was only 85 letters. The 43 for the trash cans in the street were not included. We had 4 unregistered vehicles. 3 of them were first registration. 1 was a repeat, no fines for unregistered vehicles. We had 6 trailers. 6 were first violation, no repeats, no fines in the month of May. We had 2 recreational vehicles. 1 was a repeat violation after a waiver, and we have 1 fine. There was 2 letters that went out. 1 of them was a duplicate in case the numbers don't add up for certain people in the zip drive. We had 3 boats. 1 was a first violation. 2 were a repeat violation. We had a total, no fines, total of 3 letters went out. There was no duplicates in that area. We had 4 fencing and 6 yard issues. 4 of them were first violations. 6 were repeat violations. We had 2 fine letters go out. There was a duplicate on that one. The name on the account and the name of the owner were different, but the mailing address were the same. So the letter went to the same one. We had 2 fines for yards. There was a fencing issue on Birch and a fencing issue on Terra Blanco. Total of 85 letters invoiced, and we had 84 violations. That's where the difference is on the duplicates of the letters that we had to send to different people. Let me see. On the unregistered, inoperable, and car covers, I need to make a correction to something that was said at one of the last meetings. There was a comment made that car covers are a deed violation. They are not a deed violation in this district. We do have supporting documents that are being reviewed to help with support of this deed enforcement or this rule. The fact that a car with a car cover is reported doesn't prove it's inoperable. There are multiple homes in the district with car covers in the district. We tend to look at cars on 4 blocks with no tires as to consider as inoperable. Sage cannot go on a property, lift a car cover to look to see if there's a radiator or if other engine parts are missing from a vehicle. It is possible for there to be another replacement part. At this time, we were told that it was under a car cover in the back space of the truck. We cannot follow up on that and check under car covers. Let me see on that. Okay, and then on the fencing. Let me go ahead and answer some questions on that one. In February, we had the snowpocalypse. If you all remember, there was a lot of storm damage from the trees, from the falling trees. Some of these trees damaged fencing. We have been ordered or directed to keep monitoring the loss of tree limbs and the damage to the property through the storm. Over the last 2 or 3 months, we have been continuing to report any tree limbs. Trees are still breaking and falling, and they have been found in the yards in the street. So we've continued to report the tree damage to Infomark to help get that cleaned up. And in the process with some of that tree damage, we have had several fences that we're keeping an eye on. There is crews working to get fences fixed, gates fixed. There are still crews working to clean up tree limbs. So we are keeping a track on that right now at this time. Another thing that's happened, we've had a lot of rain contributing to the increase in lawn maintenance. So we've sent out a lot of friendlies. The fines for the properties that have several issues in regards to maintenance. There's multiple things. It'll be fencing, open storage, tree limbs. Some of these fence issues go back to before the snowpocalypse, and we have pictures of those fence issues to before the snowpocalypse. So we are continuing to monitor that, and we will continue to send the information to legal as requested. We did have a fence that has been brought into compliance. We were given a directive to reach out to the resident and ask them if they wanted to follow up and provide us with a new and improved formal appeal. We have not heard from them at all, and we're still waiting on that. Let me see. Okay, let me move on to, so we had 84 violations for the day stuff. Let me move into the night ones. In Hunter's Glen, we had 11 violations. 6 of them were first time. 1 was a pre-fine, 2 was a first formal. 2 of the fines are involved in something that I will bring up later when we talk about escalation and appeals on that section. 4 violations in 14, 2 first time, 2 first formal, no fines. Section 15, 1 violation, 0 fines. Section 16, 4 violations, 3 first time, 1 first formal, 0 fines. Section 17, we had 5 violations, 3 first time, 1 first formal, and 1 fine. Section 18, 1 violation, 1 friendly. Section 21, 1 violation and 1 first formal. That's all I have on the violations. I can go ahead and move on to the topics that have been chronic, and we can discuss them for escalation if you all are ready for that.
Yeah, please do.
Is that still part of number 8? Agenda item 8?
It's part
Yes.
of the management report,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we have an overnight parking violation that has 5 fines. The first couple of communications that we had was not with the direct account holder, but with the son, and they relayed to Sage and to Infomark that they were not going to comply with the rules and that they were not going to pay any fines, and they disagreed with the deed violation. We brought it to the committee and to legal, and we followed the protocol. They are now up to 5 fines. The account holder has gotten involved and has asked that it be escalated to legal. So it's, Sage cannot escalate it. We got to take it to the committee and to the board. And you all can decide on if you want to do that.
Okay, so is this residence in compliance with in the last tour?
They actually, yeah, we had a night tour last week and they actually were in compliance. It is the first time in a year that that vehicle has been off the street. We did get a late email sent to us today, kind of asking for an appeal, but at the same time, they were questioning some of the legal aspects of the violations. And as the committee has not had time to review the email, and we haven't talked about it with legal, I was going to table the possible appeal until we had time to follow the process and go through the review the way we usually do.
Well, okay, so, dang it. Hold on, I messed up my thing. There we go. Okay, so let me see if I can recap this. We have a resident who, over the course of the last year, has been very chronic about overnight parking, and now he's asking that it be escalated to legal. Did he say why he wanted it escalated to legal?
Well, he had some questions over the legal process and wanted more information than Sage is able to give without the board's directive. And so we had reached out to Bill's office because we just did not know where we were in the process and how to handle that. Usually people don't call and ask, don't say escalated to legal. And as a matter of fact, this was tabled from last month because we had already heard from the Sun that they weren't going to pay and they weren't going to comply. And it just so happened that we had a lot of other things come up and the committee asked us to table it till this month. And during the interim of waiting to this month, we had a number of emails where the account holder actually got involved and has a lot of questions and questions that are not for Sage to answer, therefore the lawyer to answer in the MUD.
Okay, so but in the last tour they were in compliance.
They were.
Okay.
The truck was off the street last week, yes.
But have we received a formal appeal from this?
We received today somewhat of a formal appeal, but it was attached with a legal argument. So we haven't had time to review it.
Okay.
And it's not our job to review it or respond to it. So I don't know if you all want to, the process usually is when we get an appeal, we send it to the committee and the committee reviews it. You all have not had time to review it. So I don't know if you want to address a waiver at this point, or if you want to wait and look at his argument and his appeal in more detail.
I think I would like to read his appeal and his argument, and then we'll bring it up at the. And what I'm hoping is that we're going to find is that this resident is, continues to be in compliance, and then this is just going to become a non-issue where we can just, accept his formal appeal. He's in compliance, and we'll waive the fines. That is the solution that I want to happen. So, Beth, do you have any opinions? Are you comfortable with my suggestion that we?
Absolutely. I think that as long as he's starting to do what he needs to do, then that would be great. So I think it's even a better idea that we're going to look at it and review it and see what happens. So yes.
Okay. Do you have another one you want to discuss, Diana?
Well, not under escalations, but we did want to, and we don't have any new appeals other than that one that came in late today. But we did have some old appeals that I was given directives on to follow up on, and I don't know if you all want me to discuss them here or not.
Well, are they complete? Are the residents in compliance?
The directive to reach out to a resident on Birch, yes, they are in compliance, and Sage was directed to ask them to submit a new appeal. Have not heard back. We sent them an email communication and a hard copy via postal mail, U.S. postal mail.
Well, I'm going to cross my fingers that is going to come in, and we're going to be able to vote on that at the next DRC meeting. So let's all, cross our fingers on that one. Do you have another one you want to discuss?
We had another request to send information regarding an appeal of a payment plan, and I have forwarded that information to Bill's office because he made the request that we provide him with a new copy of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So Catherine, if I could interject,
Sure.
we do have one appeal to consider tonight that was actually uploaded into the Dropbox. The board asked that appeals be placed in the Dropbox. So there's one in there for a resident on Melba Pass. And I believe, I don't know if all the board has had a chance to look at it. It's a rather lengthy email chain, but the appeal really, as Diana said, the appeal relates to the payment plan that this person was on. So I'd recommend we consider it as an appeal tonight to review. If
Okay. Okay. So, but just so we're clear, he doesn't want a payment plan. He wants to pay his account in full. Is that what he's saying he wants to do? Because it's my understanding this account hasn't had any payments on it in 2021. So I'm a little confused about appealing the concept of a payment plan when you haven't even been paying your water charges for the current calendar year. So give me
specifically, I think he's asking that the fines be put on hold. And
okay.
If you read the whole, there's a lot to read here between back and forth. But I think at this point, he's saying he can't afford them and he'd like to put them on hold.
Are we in compliance? We're in compliance now, right, Jimmy and Diana?
He is in compliance at this time. We do have, and if you're going to put the fines on hold, there is a fine from 2019 for overnight parking that was also unpaid on the books.
Okay, and have we had any prior waivers at this point?
Yes, he had waivers in May when we were in the pandemic protocol. He asked for help because he couldn't make the payments, and you had 3 fines waived at that time under the condition that he was going to get the cars registered. The reason he has new fines was he did not fulfill his part of the
Commitment. Yeah.
For the waiver.
Okay, so how much do we know what are the fines right now? I mean, what's the total amount of the fines right now?
Hold on, let me pull that up. It was my understanding that it was $800.
And one of those fines goes back to 2019, and oh geez. Okay.
One of them goes to 2019 and $350 had already been waived.
Okay.
He did an email that he was going to pay his water bill so that we could look at the appeal on the payment plan, but it is my understanding that there has not been any payment made to the water bill or the fines.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sort of at a loss as to what to do here because it doesn't matter what we do. I'm concerned that this resident isn't going to pay his water bill.
Technically, he's been in abeyance for a long time already because they've just, the fines been sitting there.
And if I remember correctly, these cars that were out of registration for a very long time are coming up for registration in like 60 days.
That would be correct. 60 to 90 days, depending on the vehicles.
Okay. Okay. This is what I want to do. I want to get this man on a payment plan so he starts paying his water. I mean, that's just not an option. He's got to deal with his water. And I want, I'm going to be willing to waive a significant part of his fines if he keeps his vehicles registered. My real concern is that we're going to get into August and all of a sudden we're going to have 4 unregistered vehicles in the parking lot. And now we're going to be in exactly the same position we were in August of 2020, where we have unregistered vehicles. And he says, I don't have the money to register them. I can't pay my water bill. So,
Now, one of the things that I mentioned to Bill, and it hasn't come up, all of these appeals are not coming from the account holder. They're coming from, yes, the name of the person that is doing the appeals is not the same person on the account.
Oh. Have we had any contact with the account holder?
No, I mean, I'm assuming it's his wife because it's the same last name. But all of the communications have been with the non-account holder.
Okay, Bill, how should we handle that? Should we ask for the account holder to, be part of the discussion?
Well, I would think that we would normally accept an appeal from a resident in the house that was involved in the violation. If this is a married couple, it's possible the account was just set up in the wife's name, but that he's actually an owner, even though he's not an account holder, certainly a resident.
Okay.
So I'm sure he thinks he's representing him and his wife, but it would probably be appropriate to get some confirmation from the wife that she joins in this appeal and, will abide by whatever we set up. Certainly the payment plan needs to include, if there's a payment plan to pay the bill, it needs to include the account holder on the payment plan agreement, whatever they agree to.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question for you. Isn't anything that they pay is going to go towards the oldest debt first, which are the fines? So they will still be not paying for water for a long time.
That's correct. Under our rate order, that's how the payments are applied. And the owners cannot choose to pay what they want to pay, which categories that it's applied to the oldest amounts. I think in this case, I don't think he's paying anything right now.
That's just one of those things off to the side that we need to work through.
So Catherine's suggestion that if he starts paying his water, she will waive a significant part of his fines doesn't apply, because any payment he makes will go to his oldest balance first, which are fines.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm guessing what Catherine meant to say, if he would start paying something that equates to that amount, that he's getting behind on all of his charges each month by not paying anything.
Right. And, I'm just sort of looking at in total, and let's say if he starts paying and then we waive, $500 or something like that, that's just going to wipe out, the majority of his,
Fines.
of his fines. Yeah. That's the plans.
But you've already waived fines for him. And you have a rule where you only
I
waive.
understand. I know. And Linda, I know it's one of those things where I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
I want you to be fair to everybody. That's all.
I understand. But,
You just don't do that.
no, it's just I'm damned if I do, Linda, and I'm damned if I don't.
No,
That's the problem.
Do it well if you're
So,
fair to everybody.
so does anybody have any suggestions as to what we want to do? My thought really was to continue to have these fines, I guess, on hold because really where I want to end up is to have an agreement that the man's going to keep his cars registered. If he can't register his cars, he needs to sell his cars. He needs to keep them in his driveway, not park them on the street overnight. I'm willing to work with him in order to get to that end.
I think that's the most important thing right now is, having him pay something.
Yes.
You're not from what I'm hearing you say is what one of the options is, hey, let's ask him to please start paying something. And if he can stay in good faith, then we can come back and see if we can find a resolution. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, that's really,
Okay.
and that's where I want to end up, because in the end, I am extremely sympathetic to this person's situation, but we need to have him, start making payments, and I anticipate that because of what's on the agenda on Wednesday, that we're going to start having the majority of our residents who haven't made payments in the current calendar year, they're going to come up with a payment plan.
So Catherine, is this account on Melba Pass, is it subject to being the water services cut off in June? Right around now.
No, okay. So if you remember, we're at the next board meeting, we're going to be having a resolution, I believe, to follow what was it, the city of Austin or something like that about.
We already did that.
Okay, so I think June 13th. Yes, that's right. Yeah, yesterday. But talking with Mackenzie, it was going to take until the next meter read for all of that to cycle through the system.
So is this house on Melba Pass in jeopardy of having their water shut off?
For non-payment, because it's my understanding they haven't made a payment since third quarter of 2020.
They might want to know that.
I'm sure they've had lots of notices, because everybody is getting notices about this. Okay.
So up to agenda item number 9 before we finished agenda item number 8.
No, I think aren't we still on agenda?
Appeals.
It's part of 8 because it's old business.
Okay, so you consider agenda 9 to be sort of new appeals that are coming in. Okay, that's fine. Okay, my gut says let's wait until next month. Let's push this one more month to next month, because I want him to come back to us after he set up his payment plan to at least start sending us some money. And I want to remind everybody, when we talked about setting up the payment plans, we were amenable to having longer payment plans. Normally our payment plans are usually 6 months, and we were okay with having longer payment plans because of the pandemic.
So now that the pandemic's over, we're going to have, are we going back to 6 months or longer payment plans? What are you doing?
Well, right now, I think I don't have anybody from Infomark here. I think the default is 6, but we as a board, we can agree to have longer payment plans. And Bill, I don't remember, does the rate order say anything about payment plans?
I don't have it in front of me. I'd have to look.
Okay, because I know that part of our rate order, talks about, the whole process when you've had, like a major leak, and, you can have a payment plan, and the default is 6. And when the leak has been pretty huge, Infomark has come back and asked for authorization for a longer period. So,
If because how Infomark was calling people who were overdue on their water bills and trying to set people up on payment plans just for the water bills. Do we know if they were successful in getting through to this particular property?
No, I don't have any knowledge about whether or not they were successful with this individual.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm going to suggest that we push this to the July meeting, and hopefully we're going to have a better resolution. Who's next, Diana?
Those were the only ones that I had on old business. I kind of got ahead to number 9. We had an escalation that I was going to put forth, but it got turned into an appeal late today. We've already addressed that. So I do not have any new appeals other than that.
Okay, so let me circle back around. I think, Bill, you were saying that this was a formal, the Melba Pass was a formal appeal that came through that we needed to actually take a vote on.
Well, I didn't mean to imply that you have to actually take
okay.
a vote on. What I meant to say was it fell in the category of appeals that we were asked to load up to the Dropbox so that it's visible to all the board members. You recall in the past, we've had a number of appeals that hadn't been shared with the entire board, and the board passed a motion that appeals would be loaded in the Dropbox. I just wanted to point out this was one that we had in there.
Okay. Okay, so we're not going to take any action on this appeal then at this time. Okay. Okay. Okay, so agenda item 9. Did you
Wait,
have any?
I'm not done with 8. I was waiting for you to wrap up so I could make a statement about number 8.
Okay.
I am truly confused with what letters actually went out this month and what didn't, because the Dropbox contains 110 letters. And in that 110 letters, 39 of them are trash cans left on the curb that were captured on Tuesday morning, May 4th, less than 24 hours after the pickup on Monday. A lot of the photos still have the bulk trash sitting on the curb that hadn't even been picked up yet. So I would like to make a motion that violation citing tours take place on Wednesdays, Thursdays, or Fridays only. A full 24 hours from the final trash pickup to relocate their trash cans off the curb. That would reduce the number of violations considerably, because there wasn't enough time for people to get their cans off the curb when that May 4th tour happened. That was a Tuesday morning.
Let me make a correction to that. The trash cans are picked up on Monday. So any trash cans, the ones with the green lid, need to be taken up by 10 o'clock the next day. The timestamp on the photos confirmed that it was after 10 a.m. And we did not send letters to those photos if they were in sections 1 through 6.
Yes,
Only
I saw that. I did see that.
Only the ones that have a deed violation that have trash cans in view, because the ones in the street are considered to be trash cans in view, whether they're in the street, in the yard, they're still in view and they're not behind the fence.
I am trying to reduce the number of letters that go out each month for violations that self-correct. And on the tour that happened on May 19th, which was a Wednesday, there were only 4 trash cans that were left on the curb. So you can see the considerable difference when a tour happens on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and when it happens on a Wednesday morning. This
Yes,
problem
you're
is
correct.
self-correct.
The recycle cans are a larger number. The green lidded cans, the numbers have gone down, but the ones with the yellow, the ones that are picked up on Tuesday, they have been photographed on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and even Fridays.
Not in this batch here, but I'm not going to deny that doesn't happen. I'm saying we can reduce the number of violations that are sent a letter that have grammatical errors in them. By this month, it would have been 39 trash cans. This problem self-corrects. And I don't think it's necessary to do a tour on a Tuesday morning when more than 50% of the letters are trash cans that were left on the curb. That doesn't, we can, if your goal is to reduce the problems or mitigate this stuff, this is one way. Just have your tours on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and that gives people an ample opportunity to pull their trash cans to the curb. If they don't, of course, in sections, all the double-digit sections in Anderson Mill West, that would be a violation.
Well, the goal was not to do more letters because that is more work, considerably more work for us. The goal was to try and be fair with everybody with the trash cans in view, which is what we were asked to do, to be fair across the board regarding trash cans.
I have a motion on the table, and that is violation citing tours take place on Wednesdays, Thursdays, or Fridays only, giving residents 24 full hours from the final trash pickup date to relocate their trash cans off the curb. Anyone willing to second that motion?
Don't agree with you. I think Tuesday's fine. I mean, if your trash can is picked up Monday morning, you have till Tuesday morning to pick up your trash can. I know I do. I come up from work and pick them up.
Trash can is picked up
I don't
at
see why we need an extra day.
What if your trash can is picked up on 5 o'clock on Monday night and it's raining?
If it's raining, I put on a raincoat and go get my trash can.
Are you interested in mitigating the number of letters that go out to residents, or are you more interested in sending letters?
The issue is not mitigating the number of letters, Linda. The issue is making sure people pick up their trash cans.
And they do.
The goal was to have them do their tours and have people pick up their trash cans. Now, if they send them a letter, you know, saying, hey, your trash can wasn't picked up, and they can call and say, hey, I was out of town, or I know I've done that. But I mean, I don't see the need for pushing it back one day to give them an additional 24 hours. So
So nobody
I'm
else
not going to
did a
be
second.
second on
But
that one.
let's just vote. Nobody did a second.
Yeah.
So let's move forward.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That's fine.
Okay, so, let me. Okay, did we do agenda number 9?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Proposed use.
We're not done with 9. There was another appeal. At least I was made aware of another appeal that was on stage on a street parking violation on Granger. And it was a car parked next to the mailboxes, and they selected a resident that does not own the car and charged $150 fine to their water bill for it. And the photo clearly showed.
We do not have any email or anything regarding that appeal.
Yeah, I haven't heard about anything on Granger.
That's amazing, because she sent it to me.
Yeah, well.
With a copy to me, not the original, a copy.
Where do we get this information? Where did you get this information?
The owner that got fined $150, and she's claiming she's being harassed.
Okay.
And Linda, can I ask why you didn't send it to the committee?
I don't need to send it to the committee. I'm giving it to you now in a public meeting. I told the woman I would make sure that the committee and Sage Management were aware the car is not hers. She informed Sage Management the car was not hers. It was parked across the street from her house and catty corner, not even in front of her house.
Okay, well, I haven't seen this appeal, so it needs to come to the DRC committee.
Send it to the DRC committee and we'll bring it up for review. We have not seen it. There hasn't been anything sent to us. And as far as I know, on that one, it hasn't even been posted to the account because that goes in at the end of the month. So there's still time for the
letter says that it will be charged to her account. And the letter is actually in file.
All the letters say when they're going that they will be, but we don't do that. Infomark does, and they do it on their schedule, not ours.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get that letter to the DRC committee so that we can take it up at our next meeting. Okay. Okay. So agenda number 10. Proposed use of property on Beech Nut Trace in Anderson Mill West, Section 6. Authorization for district attorney to enforce deed restrictions against the owner for multifamily use. Okay.
But Bill, I don't know if you wanted to preface anything. The ad hoc committee has a statement, but if you wanted to say something, Bill, go ahead.
No, Megan, go ahead.
Okay. So let's see. So we just have a statement about this agenda item. The ad hoc committee tasked with establishing clearer rules of enforcement for the single family use provision of the Anderson Mill West restrictions has been proceeding with that work and has made some progress, but we are not in a position to make any recommendations this evening. The committee is aware of the situation on Beech Nut Trace and believes the use of that property falls within a category of uses defined by Chapter 260 of the Texas Health and Safety Code. So that's where we're focusing our attention at the moment. We'd like to ask to have this on the agenda for next week's June 23rd special board meeting, at which point we hope to have more details to share with the board and potentially some recommended action.
Okay, so at this point, we don't have we're not in a position to toss this over the fence to Bill. Is that what we're saying?
Correct. And I mean, Bill's aware of the situation and is working with the ad hoc committee. So in some sense, he's involved.
Okay.
Yeah, what I think Megan's saying is the committee is not in a position to recommend that I be authorized to pursue enforcement.
Okay.
We're involved in analyzing it. We're involved in the situation. We've been working with the committee for a while now, even, back when the first house was proposed that was sold and not developed. So I think the committee is asking for a little more time to dig into this a little deeper as far as what recommendation they might have on this particular type of use.
Okay, and okay, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, we will move on then.
Wait, before you move on.
Okay.
I want to make a note that on Section 6 in Anderson Mill West, there is only one reference to private single family residential purpose, and it is listed under Section 2, paragraph A, and it says land use and building types. It is here that the term private single family residential purpose first appears, and every word that follows describes the use of the land and the type of construction allowed on that land. Nothing in this deed describes occupancy or familial bonds. Like any house in the neighborhood rented by multiple people, it becomes their domicile or abode, and that's proper residential use. So as long as it's being used as a residence, it complies with the full and fair scope of the deed. And I want the ad hoc committee to take that into consideration when they're looking at the specific property on Beech Nut, which is in section 6, and the specific language in that deed that describes private single family residential purpose as land use and building types. It does not describe occupancy. So there will be no misunderstanding that they were not aware.
Well, Linda, we'll take that into consideration, but I'm not necessarily agreeing with your legal interpretation.
You never do, Bill.
Well, sometimes I do, Linda. Sometimes I do.
Okay,
Yes, sometimes.
Okay. Agenda item 11, deed in restriction enforcement actions pending with the district's attorney and authorization for the district attorney to proceed with additional deed restriction enforcement actions.
I don't think there's anything new to report on the current actions, and it doesn't sound like there's anything that we need authorization to work on additionally at this time.
Okay. Agenda item 12. I'm just gonna apologize. Beth and I did not have time to meet and go over the prior DRC meeting minutes. Hopefully we'll get them to the agenda week from Wednesday. We just need to get them pushed through and reviewed.
Why are you not sending them to the entire board? You and Beth don't approve minutes.
No, we're talking about, we're reviewing them before before we send them up to the board. That's what I'm saying. We're reviewing them.
And I'll take the blame. You know, I had a death in my family and we have not had time to do that. So
I mean,
it will be discussed at the next meeting.
It doesn't need review by Beth and Catherine. It needs review by the entire board. So just send them on.
Well, Linda, let me interject. Some of the minutes that are held in this mode right now were minutes that you suggested were not detailed enough and asked that they be rewritten. So the DRC is they haven't done it yet, is tasked with working with Sage to rewrite those minutes. And then there was another draft of minutes that was in draft form that was, in my opinion, more like a transcript. And so that draft needs also to be revised. So they're not ready to bring, they're still in draft form. If they were ready to bring to the board, we would have them here tonight. So they're minutes that need to be a lot more attention to them based upon comments that some of which you made in the past.
Well, I
Bill,
appreciate
Bill,
that,
if I
but
can add,
7 months with no minutes is now going to make it nearly impossible to review them without watching meeting videos. Too much time has elapsed. So something needs to be done to get this off high center, or we need to use your services for the minute taker in your office named Jennifer. She does fine minutes. I looked at the ones you suggested. Those are perfectly acceptable minutes. The only comment I had, or one of the primary comments I had about the minutes, was they were not recording motions, and they do need to record those details.
Bill,
Well,
if I can add, it was requested that we follow the format that Lee Catlin does, and that was our attempt, and it turned out to be too much for the DRC meetings, but we have provided meeting minutes every month in the data dump. I don't want it to look like Sage is not doing the minutes, because we are doing.
I agree. I don't want anybody to misinterpret the situation. That it's just that Beth and I have not met to try to come up with the happy medium, as where the pendulum has swung too far, and we need to get it back to the middle.
And Linda, we don't have it on the agenda tonight. I think we have it on Wednesday's agenda about who takes the minutes, but Senate Hills, the MUD that you reviewed that I suggested, the legal assistant assigned to that MUD is Jennifer from our office. The legal assistant assigned to this MUD is Allison. And so if you are that interested in the distinction between them, I can send you another reference with a different district where the minutes are drafted by Allison. But I'll tell you, we have our methods are very, very similar internal here as to how we do the district minutes.
Thank you for the offer. I don't think I would need to see them to probably agree that they would suffice, because any minutes are going to be better than no minutes at this point.
Okay, agenda item 13, future board minutes, schedule and scope of agendas. So this is, we're taking suggestions for the week, a week from Wednesday, correct, Bill?
Yeah, we have our regular meeting on Wednesday, the 16th, which is already posted. The normal special third Wednesday meeting will be the 23rd. And then Catherine, you instructed me to go ahead and set up a meeting between you and Linda to discuss some of her agenda items and some other matters.
Yes.
Which we'll do before we finalize the 23rd agenda. Will be this week.
Okay. Okay.
But anyone that has suggestions, I think Megan made a suggestion on one item so far. I think there'll be some others. Be sure to get them to us, I would say before noon on Thursday, because we have to post no later than Friday, and we have to do the draft and get it approved by Catherine. So I would say Thursday noon, the 17th would be a good deadline for new items.
Bill,
Okay.
please take a note of my agenda items so that they can be recorded in a public meeting. I would like you to give us an update on the 87th legislative session, what bills were specific to the MUD that passed and the impact to us. I would like an agenda item that identifies or has the DRC committee producing a standardized professional letter for deed enforcement for each stage of the fine scheme. I would like the website inaccuracies and misleading information corrected. I would like an agenda item that contains all the outstanding communication policy violations and their status. And I would like some explanation on the contractors and consultants withholding public records and the status on my outstanding requests in the deed enforcement arena.
Can this be sent to the appropriate committee instead? So Bill, so that we're not paying Bill to do all of this?
These are not committee action items. These are board action items.
Oh, as I understand it, what I'm being requested to is to add this to the list of items for the June 23rd meeting that Linda's requesting.
Yes, that's what I'm asking you to do because they have been denied for the last two meetings to appear on the agenda. And all the other items that I've asked to appear on the agenda need to show up on an agenda. I don't need to discuss it with Bill, Catherine. I want to discuss with the board.
That's fine. We'll have a meeting and we'll discuss it some more. Okay, so do we have any and do any other board members have anything that they want to add to the list for the future agendas?
I have some things, but if you want, I can just send a list to Bill and then you can.
Yeah. And all I ask is that you make them detailed enough so that it's understood what the issue is.
Okay.
Okay, so if there isn't anything else, agenda item 14, adjourn. I need somebody to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, and I will second that. And everybody say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll see you people on Wednesday.